Good day, everyone. As requested by the Master Teachers Association, or the MTA, headed by Sir Lorlito Malaborbor, I created a video presentation about content knowledge and pedagogy. Specifically, this is about how we can integrate content knowledge within and across curriculum areas. I am Bernadette A. Condes, Master Teacher of Quezon National High School. To avoid misconceptions, it is important that we know the difference between the concepts of within and across. We must not treat them as one single idea. In addition, we must be aware of the curriculum or the difference between the curriculum of the junior high school and senior high school to avoid overgeneralizations of guidelines on the integration of the content knowledge within and across curriculum areas or subject areas. On this note, we do have this session overview. We will start with the important points on the difference between the junior high school and senior high school curriculum to avoid confusion or misconception, and that will be followed by the discussion of the intradisciplinary and interdisciplinary, or the within and across. The Department of Education has 4 key stages. Kinder to grade 3 is considered as Key Stage 1, while Key Stage 2 is from grade 4 to grade 6. In the secondary education, Key Stage 3 is from grade 7 to grade 10. Meanwhile, senior high school is considered as the Key Stage 4. In terms of intradisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach, or the within and the across integration, Key stages 1 to 3 almost follow the same guidelines, so that is from kinder to grade 10. However, when it comes to the Key Stage 4 or the senior high school, it is entirely different. With this, overgeneralization of rules is the most common problem. That is why we must be familiar with the K-12 curriculum. Let us have some things to remember in doing the integration within and across curricular areas or learning areas. First, integrate topics and competencies that are part of the curriculum. This should be done whether you are doing the integration within, or what we call the intradisciplinary approach, or across, or what we considered as the interdisciplinary approach. Second, use the curriculum guides or the pivot bar where you can find the marks of the subjects that you are planning to integrate. And lastly, identify the marks of the subjects or subjects that you will integrate in your new lesson to fully ensure that you are making meaningful connections of the topics within and across curricular areas. At this point, let us start with the integration of content knowledge within curricular areas. This means that we are integrating topics or competencies in the same subject or discipline. This is also known as the intradisciplinary approach. To fully understand our topic for this session, let us have the following key concepts. The first one is what we call the content knowledge. It simply pertains to the competencies that the teachers are expected to master for them to teach efficiently and effectively. Second is the curriculum areas. It pertains to different learning or subject areas taught and learned in the basic education curriculum. And the third one is within curriculum teaching areas. This pertains to the inclusion of appropriately chosen intradisciplinary topics and enabling learning competencies within the curriculum guide of a specific learning area and grade level. And we do have the fourth one, which is the cross-curriculum teaching areas, making meaningful connections and including appropriate interdisciplinary topics and learning competencies cited in the curriculum guide of other learning areas in any grade level. The given definition about within curriculum teaching areas from the PPST module could be a bit confusing at first. It seems to imply that we do the intradisciplinary approach or the within integration in our learning area in the same grade level only. However, during our training, it has been clarified that intradisciplinary approach is done when we do the integration in the learning area in the same learning area in different grade levels. For example, integrating topics in Math 7 and in Math 8. This is considered as integrating contents within and not across, since grade 7 to 10 follows spiral progression approach in curriculum. The critical point here is intradisciplinary happens in the same discipline. So that is the most important information that we should remember whenever we talk about intradisciplinary approach. So with that, I could say that it is better to stick with the concept of intradisciplinary approach to avoid confusion. Okay, for us to draw a solid line between the difference on how we do the integration in junior high school or KS3 and doing the integration in KS4 or the senior high school, let us familiarize ourselves with the curriculum. So let us start with the junior high school learning areas and curriculum. So based on the DepEd Order 21 series of 2019, also known as the Policy Guidelines in the K-12 Basic Education Program, KS3 or the junior high school curriculum has 8 learning areas, and these are first English, second Filipino, then we do have mathematics, science, araling panlipunan or AP, 6, Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao or the ESP, and 7, MAPE or the Music, Arts, Physical Education, and Health. And of course, we also have the TLE or the Technology and Livelihood Education. So each learning areas is studied in 4 quarters within 1 academic year, or learning areas in junior high school actually follows spiral progression approach. This is clearly demonstrated in the teaching of mathematics, for example, and as well as in science. The fundamentals of all branches of mathematics such as algebra, geometry, trigo, statistics, and probability, and science like biology, chemistry, physics, and earth science are taught and revisited from grade 7 to 10 and become more sophisticated from one grade level to the next. But this is not true when it comes to senior high school. That is why the way we do the integration in junior high school could be different when we do it in the senior high school, because we do not follow the spiral progression approach. Now let us have an example from the PPST module. In this example, it is clear that the teacher connects the previous lesson in AP in order to establish the purpose for the new lesson. Thus, one way to integrate is by connecting the previous lesson to the new one. So this is integrating content knowledge within curricular area. Moreover, intradisciplinary approach or integration of content knowledge within curricular areas may also happen when we do the deepening of the topic or lesson by integrating it to the lesson in the same subject but in different grade levels. In this case, it is important to identify the learning competencies to ensure its connection to the new topic. For example, in grade 9, the lesson is about writing an expository essay. So the teacher may integrate MELCs or knowledge content in grade 8 that will help the learners to integrate their prior knowledge in using cohesive devices that could be critical or important in writing an expository essay. Hence, in Key Stage 3 or junior high school, we do the interdisciplinary approach by integrating related contents in the same learning areas in different grade levels. This only means na hindi tayo mangangapit-bahay sa ibang subjects when we do the intradisciplinary approach, or when we do the integration of content knowledge within curriculum or curricular areas. We do the deepening of the lesson through the vertical integration in the same subject or discipline. And that is for the junior high school, since again, we follow the spiral progression approach. Now let us have the discussion on how we do the intradisciplinary approach in KS4, or integrating contents or topics within the curriculum areas in senior high school. In the same DepEd order, which is DepEd order number 21, series of 2019, also known as Policy Guidelines on the K-12 Basic Education Program. Though it is mentioned that the core subjects are contiguous to K-12 subjects in kinder to grade 10, what we call core subject is not the only subject category in senior high school. We also have the applied subjects and the specialized subjects that may vary depending on the track or strand. Hence, the subjects or curricular areas in senior high school should not be categorized as clustered as English, math, science, araling panlipunan, etc. So we should be able to identify how different a particular discipline is to the other one in terms of the skills or competencies needed when it comes to achieving the targets in a particular subject. Let us have this example. At first glance, we can immediately say that oral communication in context and 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world belong to the same learning area, which is the English subject. However, as mentioned earlier, senior high school has different curriculum and subject groups. Hence, these analyses could be wrong or inappropriate. To support this claim based on the same DepEd order, oral communication in context is a language subject, while 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world is a humanities subject. Therefore, they can be considered as subjects in two different disciplines with entirely different learning competencies, lessons, and skill sets needed for the two subjects respectively. So instead of considering the integration of OC and 21st as within, this can be considered as a cross or interdisciplinary approach. This is the screenshot from the aforesaid DepEd order. As you can see, it is very important that the teacher has a wide range of knowledge with the curriculum, content, skills, and competencies of subjects for them to know whether they are integrating contents within or across learning areas. So aside po dito sa categorization in table 2.5 in terms of the core subjects or the core curriculum subjects in senior high school, as teachers, we must also know how to analyze the content of a specific subject for us to be able to actually identify whether we are integrating within or across, or whether we are doing intradisciplinary approach or interdisciplinary approach. Let us have a sample on how to integrate content knowledge within curriculum areas in KS4. Again, just like in KS3, it is important to identify the MELCs when we integrate topics. In this example, the learned competency in practical research 1 is cite related literature using standard style. These learned competency in PR1 can be used to deepen the current topic in PR2 or practical research 2 and to help the learners to easily understand the current topic and for them to easily achieve the target competency, which is present written review of related literature and conceptual framework. Though PR1 and PR2 are two different subjects, they are still considered as two subjects in the same discipline. Therefore, the integration is within learning areas. Now let us have the discussion on how we can integrate content knowledge across curriculum areas. This is also known as interdisciplinary approach or integrating multiple perspectives from different disciplines, sub-disciplines, and areas of expertise. Furthermore, based on PPST Module 1, across curriculum teaching areas pertains to making meaningful connections and including appropriate interdisciplinary topics and learning competencies cited in the curriculum guide of other learning areas in any grade level. So, an interdisciplinary approach, also called as horizontal integration, connects the interdependent knowledge and skills from more than one subject area to examine a central theme, issue, problem, topic, or experience. It is a holistic approach that stresses linkages. In KS3 or in junior high school, once we integrate content outside the scope of the learning area, as stipulated in the Depth Order number 21 series of 2019, it is considered as integrating and applying contents across curricular areas. As you can see in the figure, when the English subject is integrated to one or more learning areas like math and science, it is considered as interdisciplinary approach or integrating contents across learning areas. Dito na tayo maaaring mangapit bahay sa ibang subjects. So kung sa within, sa KS3, bawal mangapit bahay sa ibang subject. Here naman, when it comes to across or interdisciplinary approach, so we can have the integration of topics in different subjects. So let us have an example from PPST module. Though the example here is for elementary level, the way we integrate contents in grades 1 to 6 is similar when it comes to KS3 or grade 7 to grade 10. So here, it is said that in music, arts, physical education, and health or MAPE for grade 4, integrates interdisciplinary contents in Araling Panlipunan or AP, English or Filipino, and Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao or ESP. AP is used as a springboard of the lesson, while English, Filipino concepts of role-playing are applied in the discussion part. Lastly, the reflection questions, which promote aesthetic appreciation, cultural awareness, and sense of nationalism among learners, are connected with a certain values taught in ESP. We can do integration in any part of the lesson as long as it is suited or applicable. So, hindi naman maganda na lahat na lang ng parts po ay merong integration within and across kung hindi naman po applicable. So, let us not do it. So, now let us have another example from the PPST module, this is still applicable for KS1 to KS3. So here it is indicated that in accomplishing individual interdisciplinary activity in arts, it allows learners to enhance their creativity and to apply previously mastered drawing skills. So, bukod po dun sa natutunan ng mga bata, dun sa mismong subject nila, they were able to apply other learned competencies or other learned skills in other subjects in doing the task given in a particular subject. Now let us have an example for KS4. I decided to have this specific example from PPST module to further support the discussion earlier regarding the learning areas and curriculum in senior high school. Actually, during the training, we didn't discuss the learning areas or the curriculum of senior high school, but then I found it necessary. It is because I noticed that we do have the tendency to overgeneralize ways and guidelines on how to integrate content knowledge within and across. But then in doing this, it is important that we really know our curriculum so that we could do it correctly and effectively. I think this has been the most confusing part for the participants, and I really hope that I can help you in having deeper understanding on how to do it in senior high school. This sample is from PPST module. It clearly states that reading and writing skills subject is integrated across curriculum areas like English for academic and professional purposes, or EAPP, and oral communication in context, or the OOC. At first, we might thought that these three subjects belong to the same learning area, which is English subject. But this is not the case in senior high school, since we do not follow the spiral progression and we do not have the same categories of learning areas. As teachers, it is our responsibility to have a mastery of the subjects that we are handling for us to be able to identify whether the subjects that we are trying to integrate are independent discipline or not. This can be done by analyzing the contents, learning competencies, and skills needed for the subject. So that concludes my presentation for this topic. So once again, let us recall the things to remember that I have presented earlier. First, integrate topics and competencies that are part of the curriculum. They should be done whether you are doing the integration within or across. Second, use the curriculum guides or the pivot bar where you can find the marks of the subjects that you are planning to integrate. So we can actually include these marks, even their respective quarters, in our annotation during the classroom observation. Then third, identify the marks of the subject or subjects that you will integrate in your lesson to fully ensure that you are making meaningful connections of the topics within and across curricular areas or learning areas. It is also important to remember that junior high school has 8 learning areas that followed spiral progression approach, while senior high school has different subject categorization. Hence, there are some differences on how we do intradisciplinary approach and interdisciplinary approach in KS3 and KS4. Furthermore, the concept of interdisciplinary approach could be tricky and confusing because it has different definitions depending on the perspectives or lens of the references that we will use. This is why it is important for us to revisit our curriculum in the Department of Education and let us try to harmonize it with interdisciplinary concepts and with the guidelines and illustration of practices in PPST module. These are the main references that I used in this presentation. So try to revisit the Depth and Order 21 series of 2019. There you can find the details about the K-12 Basic Education Program. And also you may revisit the PPST module wherein you can see different illustration of practices. But then again, let us always try to unify and harmonize different concepts in different issuances and different modules, as well as the concept of intradisciplinary approach and interdisciplinary approach, so that we could ensure that our integration is appropriate and correct. Again, I am Bernadette Condes. Thank you very much for listening.